Do you have an insatiable addiction? RGB plasma coursing through your veins? An unrelenting urge to control and contract infants for your pest control labor? Eliminating spiders, flies, worms, Reddit, quite literally with their own blood
It's brimstone
and tears, no sweat. Scouring dungeon rooms to collect your deceased house cat's limbs just so you can take flight in a fursuit and utilize houseflies as bullets fired straight out of your eye sockets, all wrapped up in item stacking, boss fighting, game breaking, biblical dopamine. Yeah. Me neither. In search of vaguely similar experiences,
He's a top bloke.
as a desperate attempt to pretend that I don't have a problem,
Something's wrong.
I stumbled on Dead Estate. Ascend flaws in the deceased property, angering animal rights activists and middle-aged women that want to speak to your manager. Liver, cough, love, also zombies and that, innit? Disrespect pottery. Heal with jelly beans. Yeah, if you want to try and medicate like this in real life, you might want to keep some insulin on standby. Arm yourself. The cube. I'm just like dropping sugar cubes on the head. Collect items.
Friendly airstrike on the way.
Spend your hard-earned dosh
Stranger.
on more items. All stats up. Yes, please. Enter the challenge room for potentially even more items. Throw hands within an inch of your life and then realize that you did all of this for the item that replaces the projectile sound effects with farts. These are the sanity-slapping scenarios. Oh, he's stuck in the wardrobe. What's he doing? That keep dragging me back into the roguelite vortex. And Departed House includes a sprinkle of each element that fillets my gaming cravings. But the developers accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. What's that noise? Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Chemical Mr. X.
Oh, hello.
That's right. Big Bald Barry from Down Pub's football team just lost. And now, he's gonna cave your head in. His name is actually Chunks, because if you take too long farting around, or scraping yourself against walls like a slug to discover secret rooms. Oh yeah! $26. Chunks are precisely what he's gonna mash you into, chasing you from room to room endlessly with a thirst for your flesh ketchup, running you into the undead and having you carelessly dodge room traps. It's a unique flavour to season a roguelite with, but it doesn't take a genius to recognize where the original influence came from.
Leon!
I'm coming.
Dead Estate, Resident Evil, Evil Residents, Dead Estate. It all makes sense! Do not worry, little man. There are methods to subvert this sentient steroid sponge. Enter any type of shop room. He's allergic to capitalism. Perhaps you're an avid despiser of video game franchise The Sims.
Nothing about this is good.
Well, have I got good news for you? Blast the Plumbob.
The hell is even that?
You'll find yourself transported back to the beginning of the floor. Really handy for escaping Wedgie. And just it's good for like moving around the floor a little bit quicker if you're feeling a bit too lazy to walk. Keep an eye out for items. Some of them can help. Rabbit, rat poison, cheese. Typical British breakfast. You could rush into the boss room. He doesn't follow you there. And then take out your frustration by bashing a clown over the head with a guitar. If you possess gargantuan crotch grapes, you can bounce between rooms, shoot the ever-loving excrement out of him, give him some sort of mild stomachache, and render him immobile for the rest of that floor. You'll also be rewarded toys, which you're going to be running low on higher difficulties, so I would recommend giving Man-Meat a slap. Speaking of, you've got Doom reference. Normal. It's normal. Danganronpa. Danganronpa. Whichever character you decided to choose must die. And of course, the most challenging, cock-crumbling difficulty of them all. What? Wordle. Yes, really, actually. Perhaps if you spend more time in the gallery searching for vaguely placed letters instead of examining concept art sketches of the witch, maybe you'd be able to play it too. In all serialness, the lowest difficulty seems to delay the time Chunks arrives.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
Allowing you to fully explore floors at your own pace. Fill the space between yourselves, because at the polar opposite, insert name must die is foreboding, cements the survival horror influence, and is oozing with claustrophobia. My homie of Moses. That is because the angry hammer man is now practically your conjoined twin, drowned himself in caffeine, and chases you relentlessly from the very beginning of every floor. This also causes him to climb walls.
I've never seen anything like this before!
Thanks, Dead Estate. You did it. Did I mention that there's no map? Did I mention that the item and weapon rooms are hidden? The trade-off is extra secret rooms, more testosterone, pat yourself on the back points, suck your own schlong shekels, I don't know. An achievement. There's not much of the practical in-game incentive for playing higher difficulties. You initially have access to 2 characters.
Let's get moving.
Let's get moving, my fellow trucker fellas. Okay, boomer. I'm not being dismissive of the elderly. He is a boomer, and he is okay. Alright, decent, average, standard, sufficient, adequate, mid. He's not just Jeff. We've got to get down. High health, arthritis, agility. Much like the rest of him, the handgun Jeff starts off with is basic. It's aight. It do the job. It's just that almost everything you can find in crates will be stronger. Jeff, what weapon did you pick up? Jeff, you forgot to install Counter-Strike 4! Jewels. No, not the valuable kind. Though she is pretty good, boasting swifter movement, superior knees capable of higher jumping, lower base health, and a shotgun. Powerful, unless of course, the target takes a couple of steps backward, in which case, you can try to alleviate this by, well, picking up another weapon. Or you could try to improve the shotgun, substituting an attachment system with a random selection of item effects. This may also leave you with something like a barrage of bouncing, directionless packing peanuts. Or this. Float like a butterfly, sting like PlayStation controller inputs. Cordelia is the character where I stopped and had an epiphany. This game really did originate on Newgrounds. Yes, she has boobs. Good observation. Big titty witch. She starts off with the DualShock magic staff, but actually has access to an entirely unique weapon pool. Will you master the elements? Water, wind, fire, lead. There's also bombs, blood, magnets, and insults. Fuji throws hands. No weapons allowed. Punching only. Shoot enemies to kill them. Well, that's actually complete bullshit, because I'm fisting them. Don't let her weaponlessness deter you. She got big muscles. Plus, there are items that can compensate. Destroying a weapon with full ammo raises your max HP. I don't even know if that'll work. It work. 19. I've never had that much health. Why not defy human anatomy, embrace transhumanism, and replace those hands with baked goods? Busted microwave makes all of your bullets slightly radioactive. Absolutely beautiful. Finally, I can turn my light off while I have a wank. Also, she can do this air dash thing. Louis, I don't know, is a cop with 2 hands and 3 weapon slots. Neat. There are claims that he fires his weapons with 100% accuracy. His starting pistol, the Magnum, may be strong, but it pales in comparison to his self-defense mechanism, much like the pufferfish. When touched, he becomes spiky. Oh, Mumba is a lab experiment, and what I can only assume to be a genetically modified marshmallow, specifically engineered to be the biggest Chad in this game. He's... and the rate at which he's firing, failing business. 2 HP! I mean, you could always pay for health. Plus, he's a community favourite, and the character for no hit runs, because he's all the way over there. and just generally feeling like a swift-schmoving, quick-shooting, badass little piece of tofu. If you still aren't convinced that the Chad Mallow has the most finely chiseled chin imaginable, he's an organ donor. And by organ donor, I mean he not only donated his organs, but the rest of him as well, to the military complex, who have converted him into ammunition. Live rounds. It is what it is. I will eventually get this achievement. Armed with tactical body spray, Lydia is a playable representation of a market crash graph. Her mechanics involve losing money over time and then taking damage when she's bankrupt. Realism in gaming. The upside is for every $600 she gains an item. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Right, so basically, you can scrap weapons in this game for a couple of coins. Knowing this, you can purchase weapons from the shop and then scrap those ones to get a bit of money back. And despite spending, what you get back counts towards the items. To summarize, look at all these items. They be dripping off the screen. Yeah, Lydia gets a thumbs up from me. Digby, aka Five Nights at Funkin', starts off with a baseball bat, which destroys projectiles. Very fun, because this kid comes bundled with a combo system, so the higher the combo, the faster your movement and attack speed. He may have had his Second Amendment revoked, unable to pick up guns, but he can pick up another baseball bat, except it just has limited ammo. Okay. I'm sorry, what? Well, you see, if you quickly scroll wheel between weapons, you can cause them to fire in fast succession. Genius. And if you have an unlock button... yeah. There are items that legitimately increase fire rate. All guns now fire rapidly, but they'll do very little damage. That sound. Which of these characters do you think the plot centers around? I mean, shouldn't it be obvious? You guessed it. This pair. What's this game about? Basically, you're in a mansion and you go up. Wow. Housing crisis. On the surface level, appears to tell the tale of a woman with no concept of coats or umbrellas, who decides to hitchhike with a cozy dwarf. The truck tire sharts. Left stranded, they must now run away from zombies.
Z-word, don't say it.
Into a house.
On a hill.
Full of zombies.
Let's get moving.
After taking on Mother of the Myriad, Queen Infester, or the other possible boss on floor 1, a pile of raspberries, the protagonists climb up to the second floor. I'd claim that it's strange to keep a dungeon upstairs, but I know what some of you get up to. Knights, unhygienic butterflies, cloaked blokes. They're like firing tomatoes from the head. The Peter Griffin death. A ghost! Get boomeranged! Alternatively, egg. All stand in the way of Jeff and Jules before they enter the attic. Not the room of a house where I'd typically store cubes of meat. I'd recommend underneath the patio at 23 in the fridge. More knights. These ones are blindfolded. The iron-plated armor and helmets of the prior floor's variant may do nothing in the face of a slam dunk or pogo stick. What do you reckon? Do I get one? Yeah, I got one. But that little piece of fabric renders these defenders of the attic bulletproof. They aren't, however, immune from being brainlets. Get the juke on them around a solid object. 100% charged brain. Blast lead into their disembodied heart. Job's a good un, innit?
Oh, shit.
He's full of dickheads! I fucking hate it!
Everything he is out to assassinate Jeff Ools. Sentient blobs of Pepto-Abysmal. The ceiling. Enemies from previous floors. Discount diet chunks. Spiders with unpredictable energy drink infused pathfinding.
Bye. Bye. Get the fuck down from there.
After a cheeky fisting. Read 'em and sweep. Finally, they reach the rooftop, snatch some extra supplies, confront their bully, and blast him with an M202 flash rocket launcher. How's that for some American education? This is what the story would look like if you took your first few plays at face value. But if you were to analyze every aspect of a run as a plot point, you'd also have to believe things like Jules purposefully and consensually paid out of her own pocket to become colorblind Now that's what I call healthcare. Listeners. It's not until you finish a run with the Milker's Magician that you're presented with a README file. The witch's nameless father has been tinkering around with interdimensional portals. Oh, you have daddy issues because you left to purchase cigarette and never return. Mine ripped open a hole in the space-time continuum, allowing a variety of monstrosities to crawl through, and I have to clean up the mess. Parent a child without giving them lifelong trauma challenge. Bracket impossible bracket. Dad estate also reveals that Chunks was his partner. A lab rat. Despite clues such as the item literally named rat poison, this was a mind-blowing plot twist to my quantum cranium. At this point, you unlock the alt path. More of an extension than an alternative. New environments, baddies, bosses. Oh, it's norm versus norm action. Maybe you're more of a pumpkin on pumpkin type of man. We all have our interests. Mine being floating blobs of sperm that try to drop pots on my head because I can pick up a destructive aura and step on that porcelain before they even have a chance to touch it. I don't want to eat my broccoli. What? Enter the domain of a YouTuber's sweaty bedroom.
Wow. Oh! Okay then.
Extinguish some sparkling water. Board ship. Receive a weeaboo's wet dream. Look, just don't get me started with these anuses glued to the wall. After each extra floor, you collect a key piece. Unless you were unobservant enough to forget to pick one up. Oh, what could the reward for all of this possibly be? It's a syringe filled with milk. I am intolerant of those who lactose. Its purpose is not to slay people with stomach ailments. It turns Chunks back into a mouse, and then he helps you reach 3-exit, 3-urious, 3-occhio thrift. Bash some baddies. Stand on some manhole covers. Walk in on Professor Dad bursting a hemorrhoid. Fight a big-breasted demon carousel.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
They all lived happily ever after. The end.
What?
Did you forget that we're talking about a roguelite? They tend to add stuff and also things.
Oh wait, right bumper?
In fact, MilkbarLads have announced 6 major updates before I finished this video. So by the time you watch this, the estate might be alive. Maybe next time I choose to review a game, instead of break one, I'll pick something created by Amish people with no access to an internet connection. Really though, did I like it? What's the rating? The percentage? The thumb? The number? Well, everyone's experience is gonna be different. One man's damage increasing bunny rabbit is another man's grayscale screen stinky poopy sound effect. However, I ended up with enough hours accumulated to witness a crusty JPEG of somebody's dog slowly glide across my monitor. Yeah, it's pretty good.